going to be a 1-hour Pilates mat class focusing on loving our lower backs. So we're going to practice and talk a lot about neutral pelvis today. We're also going to practice and talk a lot about hip disassociation, meaning moving our thigh bones, our legs, in all directions away from our pelvis, stabilizing our pelvis and neutral pelvis, moving our femur bones, thigh bones in all directions, freeing up range of motion in the hip socket, therefore releasing and stabilizing the lower back. So all you really need is someplace to lie down and something for a simple stretch. If you happen to have a yoga strap or a TheraBand, grab it. If you do not, grab a towel, beach towel. We're getting ready for beach days. The beach just opened. And we're gonna start on our back. So you're gonna lie flat on your back. Bend your knees, put your feet flat on the mat, and line your heels up with your sit bones, so your hip bones. It's not the width of your flesh, but your hip bones. Take your hands, rest your hands on your ribs, and let your elbows drop to the floor. And we're gonna start off with some posterior lateral rib cage breathing. This is Pilates breathing. So you're gonna inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Feel a sense of releasing tension, letting the shoulders, face, jaw relax. Again, deep full breath in through your nose. And it's an open mouth exhale, like you're gonna fog up your sunglasses for the beach. Relaxing the shoulders, softening the face and jaw. One more breath like that, deep full breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, releasing tension, and deflating. So we're trying to inflate and deflate our ribs with our breath, not our belly, not our chest. So hands are very helpful to learn this breathing. On your next inhale through your nose, try to breathe into your rib cage. Fill your hands with breath. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Feel the ribs deflate. And this is what starts to engage our deeper core muscles. Again, in through your nose, try to breathe into your hands. Feel the hands expand with breath. Not the chest, not the belly. And then open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Feel the ribs deflate. The face relax, the shoulders and jaw relax. So we're trying to feel the breath in and out of our rib cage. We inhale through the nose, do the best we can to fill our ribs with breath. It's an open mouth exhale, sigh of relief, deflating the ribs. Again, this is not natural breathing. It's particular to Pilates, and it engages the deeper core muscles that support the spine. One more time like this, in through your nose. Try to feel the breath in your hands. Open mouth exhale, sigh it out, deflating the ribs, and possibly feeling those core muscles engage. So again, we call the breath posterior lateral ribcage breathing. Those of you guys joining, you're gonna start on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. So eventually we don't wanna let the front body rise and fall, right? We wanna feel more breath in the back body. So posterior is your back, lateral is your sides. You wanna sense the breath across your middle back. You're lying on your back, you wanna feel the inhales fill the middle back. And again, it's an open mouth exhale. Deflate the ribs and engage your abdominals. It's a breath in through your nose. Try to fill the thoracic spine. Feel the breath across your mid-back. Sigh it out, open mouth exhale. Feel the ribs deflate and the core muscles start to engage. A few more breaths like this. Sense with your awareness, with your attention, the breath in your middle back. Put your attention there. Intention, attention. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, close the ribs, and engage your core. A few more breaths. The breaths is kind of the meat and potatoes of the class, of the work. Again, inhale, do the best you can to fill the space between the shoulder blades. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Feel the shoulders and face relax. Feel the deep core muscles engage on the exhale. And one more breath. Sense your breath in the back body. And again, exhale, sigh it out, deflating the ribs and engaging the abdominals. So continue to breathe like this the best you can throughout the hour. And we're gonna slide our hands down onto our pelvis. So you're still on your back, you guys, knees are bent, feet are flat on the mat. Just slide your hands down. You're gonna put the heel of your hands right on your hip points, hip bones, these guys here, the front bones. Touch your thumbs together and touch your pointer fingers together. So you're gonna basically make a triangle with your hands, rest it right on top of your pelvis. So your heel of the hands and thumbs are kind of lined up with your hip bones. Your pointer fingers are resting on your pubic bone. And we're gonna play with the movement of the pelvis with the breath. So on your next inhale, you're gonna rock the tailbone down to the mat, arching the lower back. And on your exhale, close the ribs, engage the belly, and round your lower back. So the pubic bone and pointer fingers kind of tilt up. Again, inhale, drop the tailbone, feel the pointer fingers drop, extra space under your lower back. Exhale, sigh it out, close the ribs, engage the abdominals, and round the lower back. So this is a pelvic tilt, pushing the lower back into the mat, lifting the tailbone. Again, inhale, drop the tailbone, give me extra arch in the lower back. Exhale, sigh it out, close the ribs, pull the belly in, and round your lower back. 3, 4 more. Again, inhale, fill the back body with breath as the tailbone releases. Exhale, close the ribs, engage the belly, and round your lower back. So the movement, you guys, is coming from the breath, not the legs. 2 more. If you push with the legs, you feel tension in the lower back. If you use the exhale to round, you're going to feel more of a releasing in the lower back. So no glutes, no legs, 2 more. Feel how the exhale initiates the core work and the core rounds your back. It's a pretty subtle, small internal movement. It'll feel good on the lumbar spine when you do it from the cues I'm giving you. And then final one. Use your exhale to round, not your legs. And then settle your pelvis right in between those 2 extremes. So you're not rounding and you're not arching, right? You want to find what we call neutral pelvis. So neutral pelvis means your hip points and your pubic bone are on the same plane in space, right now parallel to the ground, right? So I do have a little natural curve under my lower back. I'm not smashing my lower back into my mat, nor am I letting my lower back overarch. I want to feel the place where there's a little natural curve under the lower back. And again, my hip points and my pubic bone, right, or the heel of my hands and my pointer fingers are parallel to the floor. Take a deep full breath in and exhale, lift your right leg to tabletop. So we're going to maintain neutral pelvis as we march the legs. Inhale, put the foot on the floor. Exhale, close your ribs, engage your belly, and lift your left leg to tabletop. Inhale, lower the leg. Use the breath, you guys. Close the ribs, engage the core, right leg lifts. So you're initiating the lift from the core, not the thighs. This is important. Inhale. Initiate with the exhale. Sigh it out your mouth. Feel the abdominals engage to lift the leg. If we just lift the leg, we end up overworking the hips and creating tension in the lower back. Inhale to lower. Relax the thighs. Exhale, use the breath to lift. So we're learning a different way of movement. Inhale to lower. Patience, persistence. Exhale, sigh it out. Lift the left leg. 1 more each side. So it's not the legs doing the lifting, and that's how the body wants to do it. Use the breath. Feel the exhale engage your core. Feel the core lift the legs. So we're releasing the front thighs. Final one, maintain a neutral pelvis the whole time and pause. So you have 1 leg lifted. Take a deep full breath in. Use your exhale to switch your legs. Inhale, fill the back body with breath. Exhale, sigh it out, engage your core, and use your core to switch your legs, releasing the front hips, the thighs, and the quads the best you can. Inhale, fill the back body. Exhale, sigh it out, pull the middle in, and switch legs. So this is ab work. This is core work, ideally. Inhale, fill the back body with breath via the breath. Exhale, feel the whole middle engage, and switch legs. 3 more. Inhale, prepare. Exhale to switch. Maintain that neutral pelvis. Little natural curve under the lower back. 2 more. Utilize the exhale to switch. And then final one. Exhale to switch. And then when you're ready, lift 2 legs to tabletop and breathe. So try to relax the front of the thighs, right? You guys, the stronger muscle groups tend to work unconsciously, like our body, everything we do, 80% of what we do is unconscious.
So we're trying to make our movement patterns conscious. Notice how much the front thighs grip and hold if you're not used to this work. Try to relax a little bit, letting the tailbone be heavy, the front thighs relax, and feel the sense of the breath supporting your legs at tabletop. So again, you guys, 3 more breaths, just supporting the legs at tabletop via the core. So again, the inhale is in the back body, this big full breath across the middle back. It's an open mouth exhale, releasing tension, and that exhale turns on this deep core muscle called your transverse abdominis. So it goes from rib cage to pubic bone, like a corset or a back brace. 2 more breaths, feel the inhale, fill your back body. Open mouth exhale, sigh it out. Feel the work from rib cage to pubic bone, releasing the front thighs, releasing the quads. Take your time, you guys, it takes time, be patient. Final breath, feel the inhale in your back body. Exhale, sigh it out. Feel the middle support your legs, not the front thighs. And then hug both knees into your chest, round your back. Let the tailbone lift. Feel a little bit of a release in the lower back. Even rock from side to side a few times across your lower back. And then we'll place the feet back down on the floor about hip width apart. Arms come by your side, and we're going to go into a pelvic peel. So it starts with that pelvic tilt action. Take a deep full breath in. And on an exhale, do a pelvic tilt, and now roll your spine up off the mat. So you're going to peel up onto your shoulder blades and your feet. Pause at the top. Inhale, prepare. Always moving with the breath. Exhale, roll down, upper back, middle back, lower back, and release. So we call this articulation of the spine. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, tuck your pelvis from the inside out and use that to peel your spine up all the way up onto your shoulder blades and your feet. Pause at the top, breathing in. And breathing out, roll your spine down, upper back, middle back, lower back. And release, let the tailbone drop. Inhale, prepare. Exhale from the inside out, tuck your pelvis and peel up. So you're not thrusting with your bottom, you guys. You're not pushing with the legs. You're lifting from the pelvic tilt the whole way up, tucking the pubic bone. Inhale at the top, so it's ab work. Exhale, roll your spine down, 1 vertebrae at a time, using the breath to peel the vertebrae. And release back to neutral pelvis, little curve under the lower back. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, use the breath to tuck your pelvis and use the pelvic tilt to roll your spine up. So you're leading with the pubic bone. It might even feel like an opening or release in the quads and hips on the top. Inhale. And exhale, roll down, upper back, middle back, lower back. And feel that release. Let the thighs relax and the tailbone drop each time. You're letting go of the work in the front thighs. Inhale, prepare. 3 more. And on an exhale, pelvic peel. Use your pelvic tilt to lift your hips up. So you're not clenching and lifting from the bottom. That's going to create more compression in the lower back. Pause at the top. Inhale, prepare. And exhale, roll down. Drop your broad line first. Your middle back. Your lower back. And then release to neutral pelvis. Final one, you guys. Inhale, prepare. Use your exhale to roll your spine up. All the way up. Feel the weight bearing in the feet. And feel just as much pressure in the toes as the heels. So you're actually tractioning your spine, pulling your knees out away from your head. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll down, upper back, middle back, lower back. And release. Final one. Inhale, fill the back body with breath. And exhale, articulate up. And pause at the top. So we're going to stay up in the pelvic peel in the bridge. Feel that your weight bearing on all of your shoulder blades. So often we turn this into a back bend. We kind of let the spine arch. Drop the ribs a little bit so your whole upper back is on the mat. So you're standing on your shoulder blades, and that will kind of give you upper back work, releasing the tension in the neck and the shoulders. Keep tucking your pubic bone up so you're feeling that polar stretch across the front thighs. And we're going to do the best we can to march the legs here. If it's too much, you just put your body back down on the floor and do it there. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, right leg to tabletop. Inhale, leg goes down. So we're stabilizing the torso in a neutral spine. Exhale, left leg lifts. Inhale, leg down. Exhale, right leg lifts. It's not leg work, you guys. Use the breath. Exhale, engage the core to lift the leg. Inhale, foot down. Side out your mouth like you're fogging up your sunglasses. Feel that engage your middle. So the exhale lifts the legs again, not the front thighs and hips. It's very mindful, conscious movement. We're retraining the body to use the deeper core muscles, not so much the outer hip muscles. Sigh it out. Feel the release in the shoulders and the face. And one more each side. Exhale to lift. Final one. Exhale to lift. And 2 feet down. Take a deep full breath in. And on an exhale, roll your spine down, upper back, middle back, lower back, and let the thighs relax. Let the tailbone drop. Hug 2 knees into your chest. Round the back. And allow yourself a deep, full, natural belly breath if you need it. So again, Pilates breathing is not natural. Joseph Pilates is a person. He developed the breath to create deep core work, which it will do. It just takes time, so be patient. We're going to take the arms out to a T, so hands in line with the shoulders. Press the back of the shoulder blades and hands into the floor and lift your legs back up to tabletop. So when we lift the legs, you guys, most of us tend to overhold from the front, the quads and hip flexors. So consciously try to relax the thighs. And they're not going to relax unless you find something else to hold with. So that's what we do the breath for. Right? We do this ribcage breathing in order to feel the core so we can let go of the extra gripping in the front thighs and hips and therefore release the lumbar spine. So you want to feel the sense of the thigh bones dropping a little deeper into the hip socket. And we're going to rotate your pelvis. And if this is too much this morning, you guys can totally do this with your feet on the floor. I'm actually going to start here. Inhale, roll your knees and hips to one side. My shoulder blades stay planted. And exhale, come back to center. So I'm moving my pelvis, my knees, and my feet follow. Inhale, rotate. Shoulder blades are super glued to the floor. And use your exhale to come back to center. Again, if you need to keep your feet on the floor, feel free. If you can manage to get your legs to tabletop, you will. On an inhale, fill the back body as you rotate. Sigh it out your mouth. Use the exhale to pull to center. Feel the inhale expanding the middle back, rotating the hips. Open mouth, exhale, close the ribs, engage the core, and come to center. So you're going to go back and forth with your breath. Sense the inhales across the middle back. And sense the exhales closing your ribs and engaging your core. Back and forth, rotating the spine. So the hips roll to one side, and the exhale brings the hips back to center. Again, the hips roll to the other side, and the exhale brings the hips back to center. Consider exhaling a little longer than you think. So when you're back in center, each time, exhale for a few extra seconds. So when you think you're done exhaling, emphasize maybe 2 more seconds of exhale, and try to feel the deep core support holding your legs, not the legs. So you want to consciously train your thighs to relax, train your quads and hips to relax, so you start to feel a little deeper lower belly work. And we do 1 more each side. Final one. Exhale a little longer than you think, trying to relax the front of the hips, feel the support of the deep lower belly. And then hug your 2 knees into your chest, round your back. Take a deep full belly breath here. We're going to place the feet on the floor again, hip width apart. So when I talk about your hip width, you guys, I'm not talking about your hips. I'm talking about your hip bones. So I'm always asking you alignment-wise to line up your feet, your knees, and your ankles with your hip bones. These guys that we put the heel of the hands on. And then we're going to relax the front thighs, let the tailbone be heavy. So there's a little natural curve under the lower back, and we're going to go into some chest lifts. So you're going to interlace your hands behind your head. Now let this happen from the breath, you guys, not the glutes, not the thighs. Inhale, prepare. And on an exhale, curl your head and shoulder blades off the mat. Inhale, hold the back of your legs with your hands. And exhale, pull yourself up a little deeper. So we're trying to lift to the middle back. And if we're not lifted high enough and we're looking at the ceiling, we're going to feel tension in the neck. So use the arms, you guys, to bend the thoracic spine. So my eyes are gazing forward at my thighs. Now notice what's happening with your legs. It tends to be unconscious. Stay in the chest lift. The glutes and the thighs tend to grip and do our ab work for us. Can you notice if your butt's clenching? Can you notice if your thighs are gripping? And can you release? So you're not letting the legs lift your head and chest, you're simply using the breath to lift your head and chest. So when we're lifted, the front body is engaged, right? I'm not breathing naturally, that's belly breathing. I'm trying to breathe back here in between my shoulder blades. And if you can, you take your 2 hands behind your head. If it feels like too much this morning, keep holding your legs. We're going to take 3 breaths. Inhale, fill your back body. And feel your exhale support the lift from rib cage to pubic bone. Keep the front body engaged. Do the best you can. You feel your inhale across your middle back. Open mouth, exhale, side out. Let the breath be the thing that keeps you here, not the glutes, not the legs. One more full breath in your chest lift, and if you need to hold your legs, that's absolutely okay. Do what you need to. And then exhale, lower, down. So learning to lift with the breath, with the rib cage, not the legs. Inhale, fill the back body with breath. Initiate from the exhale, you guys, out your mouth. Lift the head and chest. Inhale, hold your legs with your hands. And exhale, pull yourself up a little deeper, stretching that thoracic spine. And we're going to stay here for a moment. So notice if your butt and thighs are gripping and you're tucking your pelvis. We don't want to work in a tucked pelvis. We want to relax the glutes and thighs and work in a neutral pelvis. So you have a little natural curve under the lower back. And if you can manage to get your 2 hands behind your head, you will. We're going to take 5 breaths in the chest lift. So maintain the lift of the shoulder blades. And if you need to hold your legs, you guys, it's absolutely okay. Look at your belly with your eyes and don't let your belly rise and fall with your breath. Keep the front body engaged the best you can. Feel the breath, sense with your intention and attention the breathing across your thoracic spine. It's because so many of us are tight in the middle back, the thoracic spine. And when we don't have enough movement in the thoracic spine, we overmove the lumbar spine, creating tension in the lower back. One more full breath, hang in there. And exhale, lower, down. And let's add on. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, curl your head and chest up. Inhale, hold the back of your legs with your hands. And exhale, pull yourself up a little deeper. Again, trying to stretch and open that middle back, thoracic spine. Sense with your intention, your breath in your back body, your thoracic spine opening. The inhale, subtly open the middle back. Notice if you're gripping with your butt and thighs, try to relax so the pelvis, the tailbone drops. There's a little natural curve in the lower back. And then if you can, you take 2 hands behind your head. If it's too much, you simply hold your legs. Inhale here. On an exhale, we're going to come up a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper. 2, 3 more vertebrae higher. Inhale, lower to the mid-back. Use your breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower to the middle back. Exhale, lift. I don't care if you get anywhere, you just try. 5 more. Inhale, lower to the middle back. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. 3 more, you guys. So it's not an impulse. It's very slow and controlled. It's very deep work. I don't really care if you move at all. I care that you feel your core, not your shoulders, not your neck, not your butt gripping, not your lower back. So keep the legs out of it. Last 2. Final 1. Lift up as high as you can. Hold. Notice if your tushy's overworking or your thighs are gripping. Try to let the tailbone release. When we release the legs, we feel more lower belly. 1 more inhale. And exhale, lower, down. Take a full breath here. And let it go. Adding rotation of the thoracic spine. Inhale, fill your back body. Exhale, close your ribs, curl your head and chest up. Hold the back of your legs with your hands. And pull yourself up a little bit deeper. So again, you guys, if we're squeezing the butt and thighs and tucking the pelvis, we're going to feel the work eventually in the lower back. Relax the legs, let the tailbone drop. You can even pull a little bit into your feet, like drag your weight into your feet so the back of the legs engage, and again, the sacrum drops. We're going to rotate the middle back. On an exhale, turn towards me. So you're going to reach for the outer thigh with 2 hands. Stay off the shoulder blades. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, turn away from the camera. Inhale, center, relax the glutes and thighs. Use your exhale to turn the middle back, creating mobility in the thoracic spine, right at the mid-back. Inhale, center. And exhale, turn. So you're gonna keep going back and forth. If you can manage to get the hands behind the head, you will. If you need to keep holding your legs today, you guys, that's fine. Maintain a neutral pelvis. So try not to over-clench the glutes and thighs and tuck the tail. Let the tailbone be heavy. Maintain the chest lift and turn. You're trying to take the opposite armpit towards knee. Armpit towards knee. So the head is just coming with the chest. I'm not overturning my neck. My neck doesn't turn at all. My head responds to my middle back movement. And 3. 3, you guys are doing great. 2. 2. 1 more each side. And then back to center. And lower. Down. Nice job. Okay, you guys grab something for a hamstring stretch. So if you have a strap or a band, grab it. If you don't, no big deal. Today's a beach day. We can use a towel. Towel works perfect. So whatever you've got is wonderful. We're gonna loop the right foot and go into a hamstring stretch. So left leg will extend out to straight on the floor. Right leg goes up to the ceiling. And hold kind of close to the end of your towel or strap so you can bend the elbows and relax the shoulders. So you don't want to feel like you're over tensing the shoulders or the face or the jaw. Straighten your leg the best you can this morning, keeping a neutral pelvis. So if I pull my leg in too far, I'm going to roll my tailbone off the mat and push my lower back into the mat. I don't want to do that. I want to pull my leg in as much as I can this morning, keeping my sacrum, my tailbone glued to the floor, and that little natural curve under the lower back. And then just be here. We'll take about 5 breaths. Feel the inhale expanding your back body. The exhale closing your ribs and engaging your core. Really sense your in-breath, imprinting the back ribs into the floor. The inhale fills the lungs, which is behind your heart back there, you guys. Sigh it out, releasing tension. Feel the core work now. With the head down, feel the ability to turn on the deep core muscles via the breath. 3 more breaths here. So how far can you guys pull your leg towards you, keeping a neutral pelvis, right? We get over-ambitious, kind of the American way, yes? And again, if we pull in too far, we're gonna tuck the tailbone up and press the lower back into the mat. So I want you to maybe move the leg away from you a little bit in order to anchor the tailbone onto the floor. Also mindful of the hips side to side. So neutral pelvis also means my hip bones are level, like I'm wearing a belt and it's straight across. So if I pull my leg in too far, I'm gonna hike the whole right side of my waist, again, compressing my lumbar spine. So maybe move the leg away a little bit. Level the hips, and if you're not sure, touch with your hands, lift your head, look. You guys have 1 more breath in the hamstring stretch. Keep a neutral pelvis in order to get that release in the hamstring. And then when you're ready, put both sides of your band, strap, towel in your left hand. And you're gonna bring the stretching leg across the middle of your body, as far as you can, keeping a neutral pelvis. And we'll take about 5 breaths here. Feel the inhale in your back body. Exhale, sigh it out, closing your ribs. And engaging your core. So if I take my leg too far, I'm gonna roll my pelvis. I wanna keep the whole right side of my waist super glued to the floor. Again, my hips level side to side. 3 more deep breaths. So the movement might not be as big. The movement in a leg might not be as big. You might have to make it smaller. Quality, not quantity. In order to really feel that opening across the outer hip, sometimes all the way up into that outer ankle. 1 more full breath here, using the breath to close the ribs and maintain the posture. And then gently come back to center. Put both sides of your prop in your right hand, so same hand as leg. The thigh is going to externally rotate, so the thigh bone is going to turn away from the middle. So my knee and toes are going to point out to the side. On an exhale, I'm going to engage my core and I'm going to let my leg open out to the right for a groin and inner thigh stretch. So again, the purpose or the focus is to maintain a neutral pelvis. If my leg goes too far, my pelvis is going to go with, and I'm going to roll my left waist off the mat, in turn compressing my lower back, right? If I stabilize the pelvis, my leg probably won't go as far, but I will feel more opening in my inner thigh, and I will feel actually a lot of lower belly work. Feel the inhale, expand your back body with breath. And exhale, close your ribs. And engage your core. Again, feel the breath in the back body, in the thoracic spine, into the floor. Feel the exhale like a corset. Close the ribs and hug the navel into the spine. 3 more breaths here, letting that groin open and stretch. And last 2 breaths. And then when you're ready, gently come to center. Now let's go into the second leg. So go ahead and step your second foot up into your prop. Go ahead and slide the right leg out on the mat or first leg out on the mat. Reach through both heels. Straighten this leg as much as you guys can this morning, maintaining a neutral pelvis. So neutral pelvis is just the natural alignment of the hips, pelvis, right? So we're trying to, in Pilates, stabilize the natural alignment of the pelvis, right? Our center of gravity via the breath, via awareness. So if you pull the leg in too far, the tailbone lifts. Keep the tailbone super glued to the mat. If you pull the leg in too far, the whole left hip hikes higher than the right. Keep the hips level. So kind of let your ego go and let the leg be wherever it needs to be to feel a neutral pelvis on this side. You'll actually get a lot more release in the hips, the hamstring, and the lower back. 2 more full breaths in the hamstring stretch. Feeling each exhale, engage your core. And then final breath here. When you're ready, put both sides of the band in the right hand, opposite hand is leg, and let's take the leg across the midline of the body, just as far as you can, maintaining, again, a neutral pelvis. So, if you lift that left hip even a little bit, you guys, I'm talking like a millimeter, you're going to end up compressing the lumbar spine. So be very mindful and kind of meticulous about the stability of the pelvis. Right, when we measure MRIs, like pain, they're measuring in millimeters, meaning moving the hips this much will compress the joints so much that it causes a tremendous amount of pain. So anchor that left hip onto the mat, lengthen the left waist so your hips are level. 1 more full breath, and then come on back to center. Go ahead and put the band or strap in the left hand, so same hand as leg. Externally rotate the thigh, so the thigh bone that lives in the pelvis turns away from the middle. And on an exhale, we open the leg out for an inner thigh or groin stretch. Again, just take the leg as far as you can today without rolling the right hip. So anchor the right waist into the mat and take 5 full breaths in the groin stretch. Again, the stability of the pelvis and rib cage and spine comes from this breath, and it takes time, so if it's new, you guys be patient, but keep playing and keep trying. Sense your inhales across your thoracic spine. Feel the inhales expanding your middle back into the floor. Let it be an open mouth exhale, and feel the sense of from rib cage to pubic bone, holding your spine like a corset or a back brace. 2 more full breaths. Let it be an open mouth exhale, releasing tension in the face, shoulders, and jaw. And then gently come back to center and hug both knees into your chest, rounding your spine. And go and get rid of your prop, towel, blanket, whatever you've got. Take the feet on the floor, about hip width apart, and take the arms wide. And then just let your knees absolutely drop to the right. So knees and hips totally fall to the right, and if this feels too intense, you guys grab something and put it underneath your knees, like a pillow. You have blocks or bolsters, a dog or a cat. And let the weight of the legs completely hang, and just let go of the Pilates breath for a moment. And just take some deep, full, natural breaths. And try to give into gravity, and if it doesn't feel like you can give into gravity, again, prop your legs, put something underneath. If you want a little more of a stretch, you're going to take the right ankle over the left knee, and just let that shape be a little heavier. And if this feels too intense, you'll just uncross. 3 or 4 breaths. Feel the space in the side body and waist. And let go. So you're not trying to get your legs to the floor. You're not trying to get anywhere. Nor are you letting your body kind of resist and hold on and tighten and resist or grip. So there's this practice of letting go. Allowing yourself to be in the shape and just allowing the shape to create some space in the side body and waist. And then one more full breath here. Feel that opening across the side body and waist. And then gently come back to center. And second side. So allow your knees to drop the other way and just notice how it feels before you choose what you're going to do. Kind of choose based on what you're feeling now, not what you think you should be feeling. And this might be enough. If it's too much, meaning you can't take deep breaths, you'll put something underneath your knees. And if you want more, across the bottom ankle over top thigh. And just let the weight of the legs be heavy. So as we use this Pilates breathing to try to find our deeper core muscles, our postural muscles that literally support the spine, in turn we also have to let go of these bigger, stronger muscles on the surface of the body. Right, so this twist, I want you to feel the idea of letting go, which is a practice all in itself. Allow the weight of the legs to be heavy. Allow the spine to unwind. And feel a sense of release in the side body, the hips, the waist. And 2 more full breaths here. And then gently come back to center. Hugging both knees into your chest, round your back. And if you can, curl your head and chest up. And we're going to rock on the spine. So if this doesn't feel good, you guys skip it. Just kind of come up however you need to. We're going to come on all the way up and we're going to make our way onto our belly for prone hip extension. So you're going to stack 4 fingers on top of 4 fingers. And you're going to rest your forehead right there on that stack. And we're going to lie flat on our belly. So again, find a comfortable place for your head, so your neck is neutral. A lot of times we need to move the hands forward slightly so there's not so much tension in the shoulders. The feet are hip width apart and the top of the feet are grounded, so you're vigorously pushing the top of the feet into the mat. And just take a few breaths here on your belly. And I'm looking for the same work. Can you feel the front body engage with the exhale? So when we lie on our belly, gravity is not our friend anymore. Gravity, if you just relax, everybody relax completely, you're going to feel your belly and your ribs drop into the floor. You're actually going to feel the flesh of the front body drop into the floor. With your exhales, can you pull the ribs into the spine? And can you pull the belly button into the spine? And notice the tendency you guys to shove with the shoulders or clench with the butt. Like the body wants to do it with all these other muscles besides what I'm asking you to do it with, right? Can you use just the breath on your exhales to lift the front body to the back body? It'll feel like a subtle lengthening of the tailbone and a pulling down of the pubic bone. So we're in neutral pelvis here, right? If we totally relax here, generally the lower back arches and the tailbone lifts slightly. When we exhale, you will feel the belly button lift and the sacrum lengthen. And it's not a butt clench, it's a lower belly lift. Maintaining that ab work, you're going to lift the right leg up and then lower it down. Inhale, exhale, left leg lifts. Inhale, lower. So I'm maintaining my neutral pelvis. I'm not allowing my hips to roll open. I'm not allowing my lower back to arch. I'm just lifting my leg, you guys, one at a time from the hip socket. So it takes tons of abdominals. Please, please, please be willing to make the movement a little smaller in order to feel the stability in the pelvis. So you want to feel as if it's almost like a pelvic tilt. It feels like the belly button lifts and the sacrum lengthens. So you're lifting the thigh bone in the pelvis in order to lift the foot and the knee. And again, I don't care if your leg even gets off the floor. What I want you to feel is an opening or release in the front of the thigh and a lot of lower belly work. Right? If you're feeling it in the lower back, you're probably not stabilizing it enough. So make it smaller. 2 more. And then final one. And can you hover 2 legs? Which is hard, you guys. So again, we're trying to lift from the thigh bone. I don't really care what happens with the knees and the feet. In order to lift the thigh bones in the pelvis, you have to anchor the pelvis, lift the lower belly, and pull the pubic bone into the floor. It's not a tushy clench. That's going to compress your lower back. It's a lower belly lift. It happens from the exhale. Now, if we can here, if you're just holding, that's perfect. If you can add a little movement, we're going to flutter kick the legs. So again, you're moving from the hip socket. You're not allowing your hips to rock side to side. You're doing the best you can to maintain the neutral pelvis for 5, 4, the faster you go, the harder it's going to be to stabilize. Challenge yourself and stabilize the pelvis for 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome, you guys. Go ahead and press back into a child's pose, rounding your spine. And if you need to widen your knees, feel free. And if child's pose is not extremely cozy, lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest. Go and let your forehead rest for a moment. And take a few deep, full breaths here. And once again, feeling those inhales expand and stretch the thoracic spine. And feeling a sense of releasing tension with your exhales. Final breath here. And then we're going to come on up to all 4s. So make your way onto your hands and knees. And if your wrists don't do this, you guys can come onto fists. And or if you roll up your towel or a mat and stick kind of the heel of the hand right up on that roll, you'll feel less pressure in the wrists. The more we pull the shoulder blades away from the ears, again, the less pressure we'll have in the wrists. That's going to be a whole nother class, though. We're going to focus on lower back today. So today in our cat-cow, I want you to focus on the rounding of the lumbar spine, not so much movement in the upper back. So we inhale, open the chest just slightly. And on an exhale, lift the waist and the ribs and round your lower back. Now, most of us here tend to hunch the shoulders. So keep the shoulders pulling down and think more of lifting the ribs and the waist. Inhale, slide the shoulders down your back, open your chest. Use the breath, you guys. Exhale, lift the waist and ribs and round the lower back. It should feel good and spacious in your lumbar spine. Inhale, chest pulls forward, shoulders slide down my back the whole time. Exhale, use my waist and ribs to round my lumbar spine, not letting my shoulders hunch forward, keeping my shoulders down my back. Again, inhale, chest pulls forward. Exhale, round the lower back, lift the waist. 2 more, breathing in. And breathing out, it feels like a pelvic tilt coming out of neutral, rounding the spine. And then 1 more, breathing in. And breathing out, use the abs, use the exhale to round the lumbar spine. And then coming to neutral. We're going to start today with a relaxed hip flexor stretch. So let's just step the right leg forward. Hands will come on the inside of the foot if I can. And I'm going to wiggle my foot to the right a little bit. And then I'm going to scoot my back knee back as much as I can manage today. If I need to pad my back knee, I will. Again, if this is too much, stay a little higher. You can put something on underneath your hands, blocks, books, or you can even kind of hold on to the front thigh. If you want a little deeper of a stretch, you can bend the elbows and come onto your forearms. Again, you might need to use a pillow or a prop at first, or if the forearms reach the floor, just not me today, you can go there as well. About 10 breaths. So again, we're going to let go of the Pilates breathing for a moment, just come back to some deep, full, natural breaths, and feel a sense of releasing the hips. So notice how much as we've worked for the past half hour or so, they're simple movements. They're not easy by any means. What I'm asking you to do is recruit muscles that aren't used to working. I'm asking you to release these bigger, stronger muscles that tend to overwork. And when we find that balance in the musculoskeletal system, we release the joints, particularly today the lumbar spine or the lower back. So how much can you let go of the work in the hip flexors, the quads and hips? Some of us might even feel this in the growing and outer hip of the front leg. Let's take 3 more deep, full breaths here. Giving into gravity. So finding that place somewhere between not enough and too much in the shape, right? If it's too much, you guys won't be able to take a deep breath. If it's not enough, you'll easily be able to write an email in your head. 1 more full breath. Releasing the hips. And second side. So gently make your way into that second side. And it might be very different than the first, so be patient, be mindful. Hands will be on the inside of the front foot. Back knee scoots back as much as you can manage on this side. And let the hips drop forward and down. So we're not shoving the hips forward and down, nor are we letting ourselves kind of grip and hold on because it's uncomfortable. Find a sense of release, which is a practice. So be patient. Feel the sense of letting go on the exhales. So you're not trying to get anywhere, nor are you letting yourself resist going anywhere. Just be where you're at. 5 deep breaths. And notice where you feel it. Again, it might be very different on this side than the other. And notice what it feels like to let go of the hip flexor, that back thigh. Notice what it feels like to let go of the groin and the outer hip and the front leg. Right, so when we go back into moving the body, we try to release these outer muscles, these surface muscles, and feel deeper core work via the breath. One more full breath here in the hip stretch. And then make your way back into a child's pose. Rounding your spine. Again, if you need to widen your knees, you will. And again, you guys sense the breath across the middle back. Feel how the inhales expand and open your thoracic spine. And allow your exhales to release any tension that you may be feeling. 3 more breaths in child's pose. So in order to release tension, you guys, we have to notice it's there. Right, so these mindfulness practices where we slow down, pay attention, and be with what you're feeling. And once we notice what we're feeling, we're able to consciously release. Final full breath here. And then roll yourself up. And we're gonna sit with our legs extended out in front of us. So sit on your bottom, legs will be out in front of you, you need some space behind you. If you do have a TheraBand, they're super helpful. If you don't, I will give other modifications. Some of you won't need a modification. So we're gonna go into roll down, so we're gonna articulate the spine. So you can wrap the band around the feet if you have one and hold on. If you don't have a band, the legs can separate and the knees can bend and you can hold on. The full exercise would be straight legs together, but if this is too much, it's too much, right? I want you to feel like you can move the spine. Arms are out in front of you. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, roll down. So the pelvis tucks. I really want you guys to focus on the pelvis movement. You roll your tailbone, lower back, middle back, shoulders and head. And if you're not holding on to something, the arms can come overhead. Everybody inhale, lift your head and chest. And on an exhale, roll your spine up, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then sit up nice and tall. And if you can't sit up tall here, bend your knees to get tall. So you really feel the straight, neutral spine. Inhale, prepare. Again, you can totally hold on. Exhale, roll down. I want to see your pelvis move first, you guys. So tuck the pelvis. Focus on the movement in the lower back today. 1 vertebrae at a time. Arms can reach up and back overhead. Inhale, lift your head and chest. And exhale, roll up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Stack up nice and tall. Inhale, prepare. Exhale like you got a soccer ball in the belly. Tuck your pubic bone under. Keep tucking your pubic bone under. Feel the movement in the lumbar spine as you roll down. Arms come overhead. Inhale, lift your head and chest. And exhale, rolling up. And stack nice and tall. So I know I can't see you, but I've seen 20 years of this. So what I tend to see, you guys check this out, look at me for a moment. I tend to see this. When people lead, they lead like this. You kind of hunch the upper back and hunch the shoulders into the ears. Try to lead with the tailbone. So again, if you need to modify, modify. Feel more of the tailbone tuck under. Keep going. So you keep tucking your pubic bone under. Like lead the whole thing with that pelvic tilt. Keep pulling your pubic bone towards your face. Pubic bone towards your face. Beautiful. Arms reach up and overhead. I have a feeling that was better. Inhale, lift your head and chest. Now try to keep that lower back super glued to the floor as long as possible. And then stack up nice and tall. 2 more. Lead with the pelvis. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, roll down. Tailbone under. Tailbone under. Tailbone under. Your feet will drag towards you. And arms reach up and overhead. Inhale, lift your head and chest. And exhale, rolling up. And sit up nice and tall. Final 1. Inhale. Exhale, pelvis. Tuck your pubic bone. Try not to lean with your upper back. Keep tucking your pubic bone. Move the lumbar spine all the way back this time. And hug both knees and rounding your back. Take a deep full belly breath here. And let it go. 2 feet on the floor, hip width apart. Hands behind your head. We're going to go back into a chest lift or 2. Take a breath in. And on an exhale, curl your head and chest up. Inhale, hold your legs with your hands. And exhale, pull yourself up a little deeper. So the more we are able to move and stretch the middle back, the less we tend to overwork and tense or overmove the lower back. Can you relax the thighs? So pull into your feet, like you're gonna slide into your feet so your hamstrings engage. And you again, drop the tailbone to neutral. 2 legs will come to tabletop. Slide your hands down towards your sit bones and again, push your thighs into your hands. So there's this feeling of dropping the tailbone and releasing the front of the hips. Remember, we stretch the quads and hip flexors. I want you to keep the quads and hip flexors out of this work. Hold the top of your right knee. Slide your left leg out to 45 degrees. You have to maintain that chest lift. Use your arms to get there if you need to. If it's too much on the neck, just put your head back on the floor. Inhale, switch your legs. And exhale, switch your legs. So single leg stretch. Inhale, switch your legs. And exhale, switch your legs. Maintain the chest lift. Feel the breath in the back body. And exhale to switch. 3, 4 more. Breath in the back body. And exhale to switch. Few more, you guys. So can you move the legs and support the legs via the core? We opened the front thighs. Can you let the legs be a weight for your abs, not let the legs hold themselves up, right? If the hips hold you up, you feel your lower back. 1 more. If you need a break, you take it. If you can stay with me, stay with me. Hands behind the head. We're gonna add the rotation. Opposite armpit to knee. I'm not landing on my shoulder blades. Stay off your shoulder blades. Inhale, rotate. And exhale, rotate. Release the front of the thighs. Inhale, rotate. And exhale, rotate. Stay off your shoulder blades. Breathing in. And breathing out. Move with breath, you guys. Again, let the core, let the breath hold the legs. Let the hips release. Move from the middle back. Stay off the shoulder blades. And 3. 3, rest if you need to. I still love you. 2. 2, 1 more. 1. Awesome. And rest. Hug both knees in. Take a deep full belly breath. And let it go. So take one hand, you guys, on each knee. So kind of cup the hand around the kneecap. And we're going to do knee stirs. So you're going to stir your thigh bones in the hip socket. And let the arms hold the legs. So the arms are working. You're trying to release the hips. Keep a neutral pelvis, tiny awareness, and reverse, other way. So let the thigh bones move freely in the hip socket. This is the concept of hip disassociation. And in order to do that, we need to learn how to stabilize the pelvis and let go of all those hip muscles. And then 1 more. And place 2 feet on the floor. And let's go into a figure 4 stretch. So cross your right ankle over your left knee. And push your knee open. So you're going to feel this ideally, hopefully, in the outer right hip. And if this is not enough, you can lift the shape, kind of grab the left thigh and pull the shape in towards you. Rest your head, let your shoulders relax, and we'll take about 5 full breaths here in the hip stretch. So great release. Again, all these hip muscles, these tight hip muscles, we have 27 hip muscles that connect to the lumbar spine. So when those hip muscles are not balanced and or tight, they pull directly on your lower back. Can you keep a neutral pelvis? So even though you're pulling the shape in, can the tailbone be heavy? And can we have a little natural curve in the lower back? Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths here in the outer hip stretch. Feel the exhales releasing tension. Final breath here. And then second side. So it's totally okay, opposite ankle, left ankle over right knee, to stay right here. If this is enough, if you feel a stretch in the hip, perfect, stay here. If you want more, you're gonna pull the right thigh in towards you. Try not to pull the pelvis in towards you. So the more you keep the tailbone down and that natural curve under the lower back, the more of a release you're gonna get in the hip. We'll take about 5 full breaths here in that outer hip stretch. So you guys, this is a great release for the lower back. I mean, temporary, but great release. It can also be done sitting. So I know a lot of us these days, because we're stuck at home, we're stuck in front of electronic devices, and sitting. So when you're sitting, ankle over knee, knee press is opened, right? Maintaining that even pressure on the 2 sit bones, a little bit of a awareness of a straight ankle, right? If the ankle breaks here, you're not gonna feel as much in the hip. So you can do this stretch seated as well as on your back. I mean, it's fabulous on your back, but if you can't make it to your back, feel free to do it seated. 1 more full breath here. And release. Hug both knees into your chest, round your spine. And again, just rock side to side a few times across that lower back. And on an exhale, curl your head and chest up. And we're going to rock ourselves up. And if that doesn't work, come on up however you need to. And one more time, we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So when we're and we didn't talk a lot about this because we're talking all about lower half today, but mindful that the shoulders are pulling out of your ears. Take a breath, and on an exhale, let's extend the right leg back. So I don't want you to dump more weight into your arms, nor do I want you to stick that left hip out to the side. So we're trying to maintain a neutral pelvis. It's harder than you think it should be, I know. Pull the shoulders out of your ears and lift the middle more. So the work we did on our belly, that lifting of the front body to the back body, there's a hugging in of the outer left hip, and then lower the leg. Inhale, prepare. Just like we did when we did marching on our back. Use the core to stabilize and extend the left leg out to straight. So the body tends to lean the weight into the arms and wrists. Don't do that. Lift from your middle more. The body tends to stick the opposite hip out to the side. Hug it in. And 2 more breaths. So my pelvis is neutral. I'm not allowing my hips to roll open. I'm not allowing my lower back to arch. I'm maintaining that neutral spine as I move my leg. And lower the leg. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, right leg. Inhale to lower. Feel the middle lift. Exhale, left leg. So it's more core when I lift the leg, not more wrists, not more standing hip. 1 more each side. Keep pulling your shoulders down your back. Final 1. And then 2 knees down. Pause here. Lift your front body. So we tend to sag here, just like I was talking about on your belly. Feel the exhales lifting the ribs and the waist, almost hovering the spine like an elevator. And we're going to step back into a plank. And if plank is too much, stay on your knees. If it's too much on the wrists, come onto your forearms. Pull the chest forward and lift your middle. 3 breaths. If it's too much, be on your hands and knees. 2 deep breaths. Final breath. And we're going to go into a downward dog. So if downward dog is too much, take a child's pose. Just take care of yourself, you guys. These practices are for self-care. We'll challenge ourselves without overwhelming. In downward dog, lift your sit bones. Feel the root of the thighs pull back, and if you feel too much weight in the arms, bend the knees, widen the feet. Allow the head and neck to release. Final full breath here. And then gently walk your hands back towards your feet into a forward fold. And just clasp your forearms, let your head and neck hang. And if you're not feeling a release in the middle back, or you're feeling any tension in the lower back, you're going to widen your knees and bend your knees. And you can do that as absolutely much as you need to feel the sense of release in the middle back. 5 breaths. So again, back to that idea of letting go. Right? And it starts with an idea. And the more we try, the more we practice, the easier it gets. Allow yourself to give in to gravity. Feel the middle back release, the head and neck release. And feel the weight in the feet. Feel just as much weight in your toes as your heels. And let your arms drop. And take a deep full breath in. And on an exhale, we're going to roll up to standing. Start with the pelvis. Pull your tailbone up against an imaginary wall. Your lower back. Your middle back. Your shoulders. And your head. Stacking your joints. Take a deep full breath in. And let it go. And then just pause for a moment. Slide your hands back onto your pelvis, kind of like we started on our back. And find your neutral pelvis. So make sure your feet are now underneath your hip bones, these guys, not out here. And rest the heel of your hands on your hip points. Thumbs and pointer fingers touch. And just feel that your hip points are in line with your pubic bone. So a lot of us have a posture where the knees are too straight and the tailbone sticks back, especially women. So soften your knees. Pull the belly in, pull the middle together like we've done all day, and feel that lower back lengthen. So again, it's not a butt clench. It comes from the exhale, front body to back body. So my hip points and my pubic bone are on the same plane. Maintain that neutral pelvis. Take a deep full breath in, reach your arms overhead. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Nice work, you guys. Thank you. I hope your lower back feels happy. I hope you're feeling the love. Good work. Thank yourself for doing the work. All the benefits of the practice come from the efforts you put in. I miss you guys. I'll see you soon.